Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. Make sure you take caution today, folks. It's going to be a hot one. Heat index between 105 and 110 degrees. We're going to a high of 97 with some serious humidity later in the day. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon will be the hottest part of the day. So just, we know how to handle this. Stay hydrated if you're outside, but mostly stay inside with the air conditioning and, the TV. Galen, joins us from Life South. He does every morning, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and Just Ship. Galen, I tell people about the heat index, but unless you're outside, it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, well, we live in Florida. I don't know. It kind of, yeah. People have to be reminded of the heat index. Just say, where do you live? Oh, Florida? Yeah, it's hot here.
Yeah, it gets excruciatingly hot, and we just deal with it. It's called air conditioning.
Yeah, and a lot of these heat advisories are like, all right, this is toothpaste instruction.
Well, just
I don't know.
Just if you're new to the state, if you're from a transplant or you're new to the state, just know that this is the norm. 8 months, 9 months a year. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's the end of late June. This is what it's going to be until September.
Yeah, so sometime early October, somewhere around there.
Yeah, hopefully it rains. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what this means?
You're new here. I'm pretty sure you knew it was hot when you moved here.
You know what this means for golfers, though, that can brave the heat? It means you can go out to the golf course at noon or 12:30 and nobody will be in your way.
Oh, and it's like $9 too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because nobody goes. I drove yesterday. I drove by Muni, and as I'm driving by Muni, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. There may have been 10 cars in the parking lot, not including employee cars.
Sure. Yeah, you don't even go to the range right now because there's no find safe range.
Well, first off, the range is just dead brown grass and like sand and causes you hay fever issues because they don't water it as much as they water the rest of the golf course.
But this is the time of the year for your game. You get the best out of it. You get the best rolls. The ball carries a little bit. You can shoot really, really well because they water the heck out of the greens, and so this is as good as a golf course usually is right about now for carry.
And if you want to work on your game,
no wind.
If you want to work on your game, the afternoon in the heat, you can hit 2 or 3 balls. Nobody cares because nobody's behind you, nobody's in front of you.
Yeah.
You can work on your game. Here's what you don't do. Here's what you don't do. Don't go out with an 18-pack of beer, drink it all in the 3 hours that you play golf, and expect that the heat's not going to affect you.
Sure. Yeah. And this is also the time when you can get off work, go home, eat, go back to the golf course, get there at about 7, and play 14 or 15 holes.
Before dark.
Easy.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing.
That's what I used to enjoy doing.
When I talked about drinking the beer in the heat of the golf course, you and I played a lot of scrambles, charity scrambles and stuff, because that's what our golf game gets invited to. Let's be honest. And
sure. Well, my money gets invited.
Right. Yeah, we happen to bring our golf game with us. Exactly.
Never the free guy on the team. The guy they had that didn't pay.
You mean like me?
I'm never that guy.
I'm always that guy. I'm always that guy.
That's because they think you're going to talk about it and you get a media invite.
Well, there you go. Being a loudmouth has its perks. So, but the one guy I'm talking about that I'm about to bring up that's at every scramble, and he may even be at scrambles that are Christian-based. I don't know. I don't play in many of those because they don't like the language I use on the golf course. But, it's that one guy that drinks way too much, and then his buddies leave him sitting on a bench or something in the dead of the heat as he passes out. Oh, that guy.
Sure.
That guy, he's at every in the summertime. There's one guy like that at every charity golf tournament.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
There's that one guy that just has too much to drink, and his buddies, instead of helping him, set him in the sun and drive off from him. We're not dealing with you drunk. You're too drunk for us. We're sitting here.
Well, sometimes they earn that seat too.
Oh, they definitely. One of my favorite memories is we were at Adam Reardon and I were at a golf tournament, and I'm sure Doring was there, so his shirt was off. But we were at a golf tournament at Muni, and there was a group from the Nissan dealership, and it wasn't Pearson Nissan then. I forget what it was before it was Pearson, but it was the Nissan dealership. And the guy is just hammered. And I go, bro, that guy is coming out of that cart sometime today. And as I'm saying that, Adam goes, yes, he is. Because as I'm saying that, he goes off the 7 tee box. He's in the passenger seat of the golf cart. They go off the 7 tee box. The driver yanks the wheel hard to the left. Guy goes Supermaning out of the golf cart. Face first, arms extended, flying across, bumps on the ground, skips a little bit. His buddy comes over to him, says something to him, and then drives off and leaves him laying there.
Well, he was comfortable. He was in grass.
Oh, I mean, no sooner did I said that guy's coming out of that golf cart sometime today. Adam goes, yes, he is.
That's all.
But we all have been in a golf tournament where we've seen that guy. That's the guy. That's the type of guy I'm talking about. We've all seen that guy. The problem is if you've never. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you've never seen that guy, chances are you're always that guy.
Yeah, I've been that guy once, and I'm like, I'm never doing that. That was silly.
Coach was that guy once. I had to get Coach and rein him in one time when he was that guy. Well, look, Ackerman has his moments. That's all I'm saying. Ackerman had his moments. That's all I'm saying. It's at Silver Spring Shores. It was fantastic.
By the way, in the city of Ocala, that may be the best layout for a scramble.
Well,
layout.
Oh, layout for a scramble. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For a scramble, I would agree with you. It's very good for a scramble.
Love that. Love that.
The best layout in Marion County, in my opinion, they closed. You know that. In my opinion, I thought the best layout in Marion County was Pine Oaks. I loved the layout of Pine Oaks.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. If it was in, like, perfect shape.
Right.
And it depends on what year you're looking at.
The design of it was great. The shape of it was never that good.
The original design was great.
The 27 holes are fantastic.
Yeah.
The East course, you had to make shots on the East course.
And that's when they kept the contours. But as the year went on, they just started flat. Everything was a straight line mow, right? So there was no more contours. I would argue El Diablo was a fantastic. Is that Marion County?
I think that's Citrus County.
It's
really good it's really good for a scramble though, and that's why any chance I get, I go to a scramble there. Is Juliet Falls. Juliet Falls is fantastic.
Falls is a beautiful course. I don't know if it's a great scramble.
I love Juliet Falls.
It's a challenging 18 holes.
It's a challenging 18 holes. Any 18 holes play with Dan Martone.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Dan just said that's
everyone involved.
No, that's good. What'd you just say to Galen and I?
Galen hates losing so bad. That's the problem. He can't stand it.
It's because you can't handle losing to Dan, Galen.
No, by the way, I would not be able to handle losing to Dan. I would quit. I would probably become a hermit. I would quit everything that I do, and I'm not saying I would die, but death would be on the table.
Look, I'm never losing to Dan, so it's not something I have to worry about. But I'm right. But I'm right there with you if it ever happened.
Just quit life.
I would just call my wife. I would call my wife and say, I love you. It's been a great time together, and then just exit the earth. I'd just go.
Yeah, but she wouldn't love you anymore if Dan beat you in golf.
Oh no, not at all. I would be ostracized.
There are things that are unrecoverable.
Oh, I'd be
there
ostracized.
Are actions that we can take. Yeah, there is no recovering unless you literally drop dead during the round of golf, and that's how he beat you. There is no recovering from Dan Martone beating you at golf.
No.
And y'all think I'm kidding. You haven't seen Dan Martone play golf.
No, we're 100% dead serious.
I would call my wife and like, I don't deserve your love. And she's like, what happened? Dan Martone golf. She goes, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even go get my stuff.
No.
I would leave my car in the parking lot. Just leave the clubs there.
They would
donate them to charity.
They would do a dateline. They would be like, Tom was here, and then he just vanished in thin air.
And then they'd say, what's the motive? And they'd say, well, Dan beat him in golf. And everybody was in the audience would go, well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. He just disappeared.
I get that. I understand now. Dan beat him in golf. I understand. Yeah. That's exactly what would happen. That's exactly what would happen. It's not even. That's the only way it would roll out. That's it.
You'd get to the pearly gates and they're like, wait a second here. We're going to judge you for a while. You lost to Dan in golf? I'm sorry. You're just going to go to purgatory.
Well, see, I'm Catholic, so I would start there, and they'd be like, no.
You
lost to Dan in golf. You lost to Dan in golf.
Yeah.
They would send me back to earth as Dan's caddy for the rest of my life. That's what I would be.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what I'd be. We got to take a break. We'll be back more with Galen Udall after this time out. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Nirvana Medical Spa is Ocala's premier medical spa, home to a variety of non-invasive corrective laser treatments and facials. Besides filler, neurotoxin, laser hair, we offer PRP, tattoo removal, body contouring, vaginal rejuvenation, urinary incontinence, and men's sexual health. Become a better, brighter, happier you at Nirvana Medical Spa.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Thursday. Galen, it's hard to believe that it's been 1 year since the Surfside collapse. I remember in 1992 when Hurricane Andrew came through, and then all the regulations that were put in place post-Andrew as a reactive instead of, to make sure that houses didn't just get destroyed because they were using staples to hold roof shingles. To hold roof boards on and everything. And now with Surfside collapsing last year, there's been a lot of movement to fix how often they investigate or they go in and they inspect buildings that are concrete buildings by the ocean and everything. It's just a shame that it takes something as tragic as the implosion of a building to make people think that maybe maybe we were a little lax in certain things, but it doesn't seem like it's been a year since that happened.
No, that's hard to believe. But I mean, we all make mistakes. You just hope they're not all as tragic as that one, and you hope when you do make them that you don't make the same mistake twice. So, the tragedy occurred. We might as well learn the most we can from it.
And I still can't wrap that. When I saw that, when I came in that morning and I saw that, I'm like, these people were in their beds asleep.
It's unbelievable.
This wasn't something that happened in the daytime. People were sleeping and just they never woke up because they were buried in the rubble.
Yeah, that's right.
And we went to right after it collapsed, because it collapsed in June of last year. My wife and I, who was not my wife at the time, she was my fiance, we had planned a trip to Panama City where all my friends were coming in from various states around the country. And we were staying we had booked an Airbnb on the 23rd floor of a condo building in Panama City, right on the beach. And we had a serious conversation about, do we need to look into maybe canceling our trip and everything? Because, it made us wonder if we were doing the right thing with this Airbnb that was 22 stories up in the air. We ultimately went, and there was no problem or anything, but it gave us a reason to pause. And with all the buildings like that in Florida, that was an eye opener and a wake up call for the state of Florida.
No doubt, absolutely no doubt.
And I bet that day, because of you with the blood supply and everything, that was a busy day for you guys.
Yeah, it was weird that we inactivated we have something called Thur, but we activated it, but there wasn't really any need for blood. It was one of those weird things that there wasn't somebody who was continually going through trauma. Most of the major blood users are when you're in an accident, you have that open wound, and they're just trying to stabilize you to even get to surgery and things like that. But in this case, they didn't really have an overabundance of usage of blood. Gunshot wounds, knife wounds, things like that really use a lot of blood.
I'm sure that, yeah. But, when the building collapses and all you're getting is victims out that aren't alive anymore, they're,
Yeah.
But I'm still...
Same thing for 9/11, right? 9/11 was the exact same thing. And there were a lot of survivors.
Right. But, it was, when you saw that building and you saw it just come down, and you saw, what really got me was 2 days later when you saw the building videotape that was released to the public. And
Sure.
you just knew what was happening, and here it is 3 o'clock in the morning when it just, and you just, again, you just felt for the families and the people that were part of it. And look, this was a place that needed repairs. It was documented that the south tower of the condo was a 40-year-old oceanfront building. It had exposed rebar. This was, the homeowners association was found. Well, Champlain Tower South Condo Board, it was found that by the Miami-Dade grand jury that they didn't make timely repairs, and that contributed to the collapse. So the people on the board, the people that lived there, by not doing repairs or getting inspections and all, contributed to their own demise, according to a Miami-Dade grand jury.
Yeah, I guess they were having somebody was there to inspect it.
Well, they had found in 2000.
You got some major problems with the pool.
They had found in 2018 in an inspection that the condo needed serious work, but the tower board put off making repairs because they said it cost too much money.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
But it led to a revamping of the Florida Condominium Act. That allows condo boards throughout the state to waive their obligation to fund reserves for maintenance and repairs. That was revamped. So out of the tragedy arose some regulations that I know that we're not fond of government intrusion and government regulations, But when you have a whole building collapse and then it's said because the condo board thought it was too much money to repair, you got to have somebody step in and be the voice of reason.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has a problem with, those kind of regulations, whether it's, people who do food inspection, right, or, building inspectors. I don't think very many people have problems with them. And by the way, that's not the red tape that stops things, usually. It's the permitting, it's the front end of that creates all the problems.
Yeah, well, they did. One of the biggest change was the new statewide regulation requires all condo buildings 3 stories or taller, that instead of before the law was at 40 years old and older, they had to be inspected every 5 years. They've moved that now to 25 years of age if they're within 5 miles of the coast.
Sure.
And then it's 30 years. Then it's 30 years old. It's 30 years old for every building after. So they went from 40 to 30 unless you're within 5 miles of the ocean, and then it went to 25 years. And as we all know, because we live 60 miles from the ocean one way and 45 miles from the ocean the other way. Not a whole lot of big 20-story condos in Ocala, but along the ocean there's a bunch of them. So probably wise to have revamped that regulation. But just it was one of those tragic days, and immediately when I first saw it on the morning news that morning, I thought at first, and this is terrible because this is the world we live in. At first, I didn't think anything about structural damage or anything. I thought, oh God, what has a terrorist done this time?
Sure, I think we've been trained to think that, haven't we?
And that area of South Florida, densely populated, different groups that could say that there's different target groups down there that are easy to say that we don't like this group or we don't like that group. So my immediate thought, and you're right, it's really a trained response that we have now as Americans. I went, oh God, terrorism again.
Yep.
So
exactly right. I understand that completely.
So it's been a year. I couldn't believe there's been a full year since that happened. It just seems like it was yesterday, but it was last June. So hearts and prayers go out to the families and to any of the survivors who still, I'm sure, deal with that just horrible memory on a daily basis. So
absolutely.
It'll one of those tragedies we'll talk about for years to come in the state of Florida. In the same vein that we talk about Hurricane Andrew, you remember how just aghast you were? I don't know if you were in 92. We were in 92 when we found out that they had used staples to hold plywood on roofs that were, getting hit by 100-mile-an-hour winds. I was like, really? Staples? How the hell did that happen? And found out regulation didn't say they couldn't use staples.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that. I was in San Diego when Andrew hit, so I was a little more distant from it. And to be honest with you, I didn't much care about news at the age of 22.
No, I would figure. I'd figure you were a '70s baby. You didn't care much about the news at all till you got into the new millennium, probably. So
Again, 25 is when you become a actually functioning adult as a man. So you can't hold me much accountable for that.
No, I was about 34. About 34.
That's okay too. And I haven't. Yeah, I don't know much about. I mean, I've been to where the hurricane hit, and you still see some of the remnants. But yeah, I've seen some of the video, but I don't know much about the aftermath.
We got to take a break. We'll be back more with Galen Udall from Life South after this brief timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Suspected Democrat activists continue to attack pro-life centers as President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and the Department of Justice remain silent on the violence. The 2 Michigan pro-life center attacks were at the Lennon Pregnancy Center, that's in Dearborn Heights, and the Pregnancy Care Center in Redford. A Vietnam War-era helicopter crashed in West Virginia late Wednesday afternoon, killing all 6 passengers and crew members on board. The Bell UH-1B helicopter crashed in a rural area near Route 17 in Logan County. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined. However, the Logan County Office of Emergency Management had warned severe weather in the region prior to the crash. The identities of the victims have not been released. National Football League star and big personality 55-year-old Tony Siragusa died Wednesday. A cause was not released. USA Radio News.
Here's a question for you. Why is it that some people aren't as stressed out about the future as you'd think they'd be? Answer? They're probably among the millions of Americans who have prepared themselves with emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. If the worst ever happens, literally millions of American families are already protected from dealing with empty store shelves. Is yours? If not, go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and grab some emergency food kits, at least one for each member of your family. These kits give you a wide variety of delicious meals that average over 2,000 calories per day. Everything stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. Order your kits now by going to MyPatriotSupply.com. Your order will ship fast and arrive discreetly in unmarked boxes. Listen, this is something you need to jump on now, before the next news headline stuns the world. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Folks, now listen to this, because it may be hard to believe. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens is having a 50% off sale on practically everything in their huge 5.5-acre store right now at the beginning of the summer growing season. You name it. It's probably marked down by 1/2, 50% off during this sale. I'm talking camellias and azaleas and roses, gardenias, shrubs, herbs, and citrus. I'm talking about crepe myrtles, flowering vines and shrubs, hanging baskets. I'm talking about hundreds of items in their outdoor garden display, too much to name here. Practically nothing is being held back. It's your one best chance of the year to stock up, really stock up for the growing season. See the ad at BobWinesCameliaGardens.net, then hurry on over to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. They're open daily till 4, Saturdays till 3, keeping Ocala green and growing for 70 years.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9, to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back. Excuse me. Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Thursday. Galen Unall from Life South joins as he does every day. Brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, just shipped, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, Floridians dodged a bullet, it looks like. A major bullet. If you remember back in 2020, we had a very contentious governor's election. Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. Ron DeSantis narrowly won and became governor of Florida. And we're probably better as a state because of it, because now the former governor candidate and his longtime associate, Sharon Letman Hicks, they were arrested by the FBI after a federal grand jury returned 21-count indictment against the pair, of which they said that they solicited illegal campaign donations from undercover FBI agents and then funneled the proceeds to the consulting firm of Sharon Letterman Hicks and then to each other for personal use. So 21 indictments, federal charges against Andrew Gillum, who was an eyelash away from being governor.
Yeah, you say an eyelash. We're talking 40,000 votes.
Yeah.
Out of 8 million that were cast. And again, this is one of those things that the only reason that we found out is because he lost. Right? If he wins, you never hear about this, and this is swept under the rug. And that's kind of the way the corruption works, is once you lose, you no longer have that protection, and you are completely uncovered with all of your racketeering.
Yeah, you see this happen. Look, this is not just something Andrew Gillum has done. You see this done by politicians all over the country all the time. I mean, who was the guy, Rob Bogdanovich, that wasn't he selling a Senate seat that Barack Obama left because Barack Obama became president? Didn't they indict him and convict him of selling a Senate seat to the highest bidder?
Sure.
This is not
again,
new.
No, and they're politicians, and so no one has very high expectations for any of their politicians.
Corinne Brown, remember Corinne Brown out of Jacksonville?
Oh
she got convicted of just openly funneling money out of her campaign fund into her just personal checking accounts and all. By the way, she served her time and everything, and because there's no federal regulation against a felon running for office, she's running for a U.S. House of Representatives office that stretches from Jacksonville to Orlando. Yeah. And he'll probably win. Oh, yeah, I know. She will probably go and represent the people. The people in her district, it is a predominantly African-American district. The people in her district will probably send a convicted felon to Washington.
Yeah, and you talk about a carve-out of a district that is pure gerrymandering. That's one you can point to. For sure.
Well, yeah, without a doubt. There's nothing about the city of Orlando and the city of Jacksonville that the representative could represent both those areas with effectiveness, because they're so different and so diverse of each other.
Yeah, and everything that's in between them.
Oh, yeah. It's just, I don't know, but Andrew Gillum, who literally was an eyelash away from being the governor. It was that close.
It was crazy.
It was that close.
I mean, I think it would be pretty remarkable if they had that same election here 4 years later. How vastly different it was. But, in 2018, I think everybody was just trying to figure out, okay, we can't continue to have kind of upheaval and we don't want our leaders to be that bombastic. And then, DeSantis won.
Yeah, it wasn't 2020. It was 2018. Thank you for correcting that.
2018. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you corrected it. I said it wrong. It's 2018.
Oh, okay. All right. So and again, now you look back and say, wow, where would this state be if Andrew Gillum had won, and what he wanted to bring to the state of Florida? And again, if that election is in 2020, Andrew Gillum wins, and he probably wins by 20,000 votes instead of losing by 40,000 because of the pure how political that 2020 election had become, and how it was really just a vote against Donald Trump. And DeSantis has been a Trump guy from day one.
You know who really didn't like this news coming out yesterday? Because I vividly remember the commercials that tied them together. Nikki Fried cannot like that this happened.
Well, Nikki Fried is part of the whole thing, right? I mean, Nikki Fried is tied into that deep. She's a Charlie Crist girl.
She was a firm supporter of Andrew Gillum. She backed Andrew Gillum.
Absolutely.
She's a Democrat. There was commercials that talked about how they could change if they became the leadership of Florida, how they could change for the better. And now, if I'm DeSantis' camp or whoever gets the nomination, we know it'll be DeSantis as a Republican. I run those commercials out reminding her, hey, here's who Nikki Fried thought was a good guy, a guy that's under 21 federal indictments for taking your money or trying to take people's money that he thought were taxpayers and putting it in his own personal finance because he doesn't care about you. And neither does Nikki Fried. Those commercials
not just Nikki. Nikki Fried has no chance. Right? I don't even think there's a mathematical chance. I think DeSantis could drop dead and he'd still win. But I think there's some other races that are going to be interested in how they use it, like Val Demings. How is she going to use this in her?
Yeah, because she campaigned
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, she campaigned for Andrew Gillum.
Absolutely.
Campaigned for him.
And again, I'm no Marco Rubio fan, but I don't think you can vote for Val Demings if you've ever voted for Marco Rubio. I don't know if you can vote for Val Demings. Those two have nothing in common.
Well,
other than they're both pro law enforcement, they just go about it in a different way. Val Demings is pretty staunch supporter of the police since she was a police chief.
And the judge yesterday said that that because Gillum and Letman Hicks work together, they can communicate, but only about their work. The judge told him, you better refrain from talking about this case in any way, including small details like court date, because if you do so, I personally will oversee more federal charges for obstructing justice and tampering with witnesses. They're kind of serious about this.
I think Andrew Gillum's life is completely over now. I mean, they caught him. And by the way, all of this came about with the sting operation, him in the hotel room with who we're not really sure, but we're pretty sure it was another dude.
Right.
And then everything after that kind of just fell apart. And that kind of ripped the can off, and everybody has kind of ran from him now. He's toxic at this point.
Toxic. And when you look at some of these stipulations the judge put in, it makes you laugh, but I understand why he did it. He restricted their movements where they can't leave the Northern District of Florida. They can have no contact with witnesses or victims in these cases, no alcohol use, no drug use, including medical marijuana, and they're subjected to random tests for both alcohol and drugs at any time.
Well, yeah, why not? Go for it, Judge. That guy's trying to go. He must be up for re-election.
They've been charged with 19 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and then Gillum's charged with lying to the FBI. Wow.
Yeah, and he'll serve 6 months, and then
an eyelash away from the governor's mansion.
Less than 40,000 votes, right? It's like 38,000 and something.
And like you said, if he'd have won that race, you'd have never heard about this.
No, and again, we would be living in a different Florida. we'd probably be thinking.
We'd still be
finally
locked
taking
down.
on
We'd
that.
still be locked down right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and again, same can be said for Stacey Abrams up in Georgia. She's running again, and she still hasn't conceded the election for the last time.
Right.
Against Kim.
She still believes she's governor in Georgia, and here she is running again.
Pretty funny.
And her sister's a judge that's going to help her any chance she can get.
Wow.
How about that? How about that? Sister's a federal judge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
In Georgia, the district where the cases will go in front of. So.
Sure.
Look,
I don't think it'll be that close either. I mean, it just won't be that close.
Here's the problem with Georgia. Atlanta has almost 8 million people that live in metro Atlanta in a state that only has 9 million people, 19 million people.
You got to get them to vote, though. You got to get them to vote.
Right.
And they're not very motivated to vote.
Well, she may be able to turn the vote out.
Stayed home. All the Republicans who live on that North Atlanta side, and you can look at the poll data. They just didn't vote. They stayed at home for that runoff election. Senate. They just said we're not going to get involved.
You know what makes me laugh? Because I have the local channels because of the way it's set up. I get the local channels out of Columbus, Georgia, and so I get inundated with their political commercials instead of Florida's, and the way that the Warnock-WOCA race is coming down. Is Warnock is pretty much referred, without saying it, he's referring to Herschel Walker as an Uncle Tom, and that he's not smart enough to understand that's what's happening. And I'm telling you, that ain't sitting well with a lot of Georgians, because the one thing you can do a lot of things in Georgia. Bringing in, question, anything that deals with Vince Dooley or Herschel Walker ain't one of them.
Well, I mean, he's way up. Warnock's currently leading that race.
Yes, I know he is. I know he is.
And I think it's not close.
Well, they say he's leading the race by the polls, but who knows? We've learned that polls are subjective. The people will lie to pollsters. Lie. I know.
I get that.
I know a large group of people here in town that live here in town that are registered as Democrats so that they can then get the pollsters for the Democrats to call them so they can lie to them.
Well, there you go.
I would, but that's the political climate we live in now. That's the political climate we live in now.
There's no doubt about that. I just don't think that, I don't know how many people are doing that. But currently, I think Warnock's leading by 10 points.
Yeah, well,
because they keep catching Herschel in lies. Now he's got 2 estranged kids. Now maybe as many as 5 estranged kids.
I think that when it comes down
to Herschel Walker, the man hasn't had to buy a meal in 45 years.
I think when it comes down to it, the last couple weeks of that race, they're just going to put Herschel Walker reruns of, it's raining sugar from the sky. Look at Herschel go. They're just going to raise. Herschel needs to ride that into Washington, and people will vote for. There will be Democrats who are like, well, look, I'm a Democrat, but it's Herschel Walker. Go dogs.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not underestimating that. I mean, because anybody else with the exact same track record as Herschel Walker
would be out of the race by now. Gone.
Well, he wouldn't have even run.
No.
Nobody is coming out there and saying, wow, look how qualified this guy is. They're like, no, that's Herschel Walker.
Well, you remember there, you might not remember, there was and back when before memes, when you actually had satirical cartoonists and all that would draw things, not memes. There was a cartoon in 1984 or 83, somewhere around there early, where it showed the University of Georgia, a building at the University of Georgia with the Georgia seal over the door, so you knew it was at the University of Georgia. And it had a guy in a 34 jersey, black guy in a 34 jersey, with his helmet off, so it kind of looked like Herschel, pushing on the door that clearly said pull. And people, it was a Florida. It was in the Times Union, I think, or something. It was during Florida Georgia Week, and they were picking fun at Georgia. And a lot of people for the longest time thought of Herschel Walker that way. That it's a good thing he could play football because he was from Wrightsville, Georgia, and was he that smart? Well, he's since put those rumors to bed. He's very savvy in business. He's been very successful, but like you said, it's not hard to be successful when you probably hadn't paid a light bill, a mortgage, or for a dinner in your entire life since you were 18.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, I mean, that's one of those races that I think if the Republicans are going to win the Senate, they're looking at and going, come on, Herschel, just hold it together. Just hold it together.
And the Reverend Warnock does have an advantage that a lot of people don't have. The Reverend Warnock is the Reverend of Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. and Jr.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt that you're the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church. That's not a check mark against you.
No, and I have a lot of people I know who have interacted with him, and they speak very highly of him, and they say he's a very good man. They don't agree with his politics, but he's a very good man, and that's why he's getting votes. So,
I was told by a friend of mine, Chris. I was told by a fraternity brother of mine, Chris, who is high up in the state chamber of commerce in the state of Georgia, that he is the African American, the 21st century African American version of Jimmy Carter. A great guy. You might not agree with his politics, but as a human, he's above reproach.
Sure, I believe that.
And so that's going to be hard for Herschel to overcome because as a human, Herschel ain't always been the best.
No.
That's well documented. And, how many more illegitimate, how many more children that Herschel says he didn't know about are going to show up?
Time will tell on that one.
And Georgia is still the Bible Belt. So it's hard for some people to overlook that kind of stuff.
That matters when you go to everything south of Macon, right? When you're in those rural counties where there are more peanuts than people.
When you're in Lamar County, or you're in Bullitt County, or you're in Screven County, or you're in Effingham County, all those areas, that matters a lot.
Well, but then again, with anybody else, they'd have no chance. But then you said, well, it's
Herschel Walker, though. Well, he did win. He did help us win a national championship in 1980. We didn't win another one until last year, so he's kind of special.
Sure, it's Herschel Walker.
Yeah, but he's friends with Donald Trump.
Yeah, and by the way, that helps him.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that it's going to be interesting, but it just brings me back to we were real close with Andrew Gillum, him being the governor.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, way too close. Way too close.
Yeah, he was.
Well, and DeSantis was pretty much an unknown at the time.
Right.
Gillum was a well-known politician. You go back and you look at that, and boy.
And now he's facing 21 felony counts, 19 of wire fraud. The one lying to the FBI. That's just something you don't do. You don't do it.
Well, I wonder. Again, I wonder if that will get thrown out. That's the one. The wire fraud's not getting thrown out. But I'll bet you that line to the FBI does.
So let's move on real quick. Got about 5 minutes left. Last night, overtime, the Avalanche 3-2. They go back home 3-1. Is this series over, Galen? Or the Lightning has midnight struck for the Lightning?
Yeah, and again, you look at that line. The number one line for the Avalanche, and they scored all their goals. And
Kadri scores the overtime goal.
Yeah, and then you got McKinnon, who's probably the best player in the NHL right now. I don't think that's debatable. And the Lightning just can't keep pace with them. They came out, they scored early, And I'm like, okay, the Lightning are in this. The building was just a absolute buzz. And I think they just ran out of steam because the Avs have too many weapons.
A friend of mine sent me a message, goes, Tampa Bay lost last night, but it was controversial. Now, I didn't watch the game. Why are some people saying that the loss was a controversial loss? Was there some disagreement about goal scoring or something?
Yeah, the overtime goal, the two things happened. One, the announcer didn't catch it. And secondly, the referees didn't know where the puck was. So the Avalanche are absolutely going nuts. They knew they scored. The Lightning knew they scored. And the refs were like, well, wait, so what? They just missed it. And they had to actually go and review it. So that's where it wasn't really controversial. It was just a lot of people going, what happened?
Well, there is a still photo that shows as the puck hits Kadri's stick, McKinnon hadn't completed his change yet, so there's 7 Avalanche on the ice at one time.
I've seen that. There's nobody calling that. He was so not part of the play. I'm not.
They possessed the puck with 7 players on the ice. It doesn't matter. That's like the defensive lineman running off the field. Even if he isn't part of the play, it is. 7 players on the ice when you have possession of the puck is illegal.
Have you seen the photo?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
He's on the board.
I'm looking at it right here. He has nothing to do with the play. I see that.
Right.
But the letter of the law says that's 7 players on the ice. That's a penalty.
You never get that call. Ever. There's no official who would ever say, I know you just want to argue, but there's no official who would ever say, oh, yeah, that's too many men on the ice.
Well, but it is too many men on the ice. So now the officials then aren't refereeing properly.
Okay, fine.
Which doesn't surprise me. Officials in every genre.
Fine. Again, that's such a...
I could care less. The Rangers lost. I'm just saying that as I'm reading this article, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. The Tampa Bay coaching staff hung its hat in its post-game interviews last night on that game shouldn't be over. The sour grapes, we should still be playing. We're filing with the league office. There's nothing going to come of it, but it leads to what everybody likes in sports, drama and discussion.
By the way, it was an incredible goal. I mean, that's what they're taking away. That shot by Kadri was incredible. Top shelf. It was pretty incredible. But anyway, that too many men on the ice is just.
Then finally, we got about 45 seconds left. So finally, the only mention today of the golfing world is who cares? There's a large group of LPGA women that say, you know, if the Saudi Arabians want to start a league for us, a bunch of us would jump. Who cares?
Correct. Well said.
Jump.
Well said. Go ahead.
Go ahead with your tape-delayed U.S. Open on the Golf Channel at 11 at night. Go ahead.
They'd have to wear a burqa. What do you call it?
Exactly. Yeah.
A burqa.
Habib.
A burqa while they're playing. Hajib while they're playing. Good luck. Let me see a tee off in this.
Exactly. Hey, Galen, where's the blood?
Oh, and by the way, they couldn't even drive carts. They don't drive carts anyway, but if they had carts, you'd have to have
somebody else would have to drive for them. Exactly.
That's a joke, people. It's just a joke.
Humor, folks. Humor.
Yeah.
Humor.
Yeah.
Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, Bloodmobile today, we're actually at the Publix out on 200, so out there near Friendship Plaza. So come Friendship Center. So come out there, check us out there. But as always, right at lifesouth.org, you can find out all the information about donating blood and saving 3 lives. So give blood.
Galen, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye all.
We'll be right back with Vets News with the guys from Vets Helping Vets after this timeout on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farming Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Ag Statistics Service of USDA is reporting.
First off, don't be afraid to fail. If you want something, you better go and get it. Nobody's going to knock at your door and just go and say, here you go, here's a briefcase of money, you're successful. It ain't going to work.
NFL legend Tony Siragusa has died at 55 years old. His former Baltimore Ravens teammate Jamal Lewis confirmed on Wednesday. It's a sad day to be a Raven, he said. A cause of death has not been released. Uvalde Schools Police Chief Pete Arredondo has been placed on administrative leave amid criticism of his response to the worst school shooting in Texas history. Chief Arredondo said he didn't think he was in charge that fateful day. Elon Musk said Tesla's new building facility in Germany and Texas are losing billions of dollars as the electric vehicle maker tries to ramp up production amid supply chain issues. We are USA Radio News.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy payroll customer.
Patriot Software has saved our business by allowing me to focus on other aspects of the business rather than spending so much time on multiple platforms to do the things entailed on running a business. I found Patriot by complete accident, and I don't regret it. It is continuing to save our company, and I'm extremely excited to see what else it entails.
Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you.
Visit us at patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
With patriotsoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Ag Statistics Service of USDA is reporting that the peanut crop is 97% planted. That is comparing to 97 for the 5-year average. In the tri-state area, Georgia has 27% of their crop is pegging compared to their 5-year average of 29. Soil moisture is terrible, 30% very short, 41% short, 28 adequate, and 1 surplus. Georgia's row crop area experiencing abnormally dry conditions with a growing portion of the southeast Georgia in moderate to severe drought. In Alabama, 95% of their crop is planted, 7% pegging. Most of Alabama received scattered rain last week. Some farmers reported running irrigation on corn, peanuts, and cotton. Florida's 19% of their crop is pegging. Crops could use some rainfall.
Provosol fungicide from BASF allows growers to manage fungicide resistance in peanuts. And BASF Technical Service Representative Abraham Fulmer explains when this product should be used.
Technically, Provosol can be used at any time in the season. However, our research with our university colleagues has demonstrated at 75 and 105 days is generally when we can maximize the opportunity that Provosol brings to the market. And the reason why is at 60 and 90 days, most growers generally spray a white mold heavy product like Excalia or Elatus or Convoy or something of that kind. So by spraying Provosol at 75 and 105 days, it breaks up those groups 7 and 11s and helps bridge the gap in white mold and provide excellent leaf spot control.
Contact your local BASF retailer or representative to learn more about Provosol, or go to their website